Someone told me that a law professor from a local university suggested that Tan Kin Lian is pursuing an office that does not exist. I think the law professor is mistaken. I'm pursuing the office of President, which is stated in the Constitution of Singapore. The Presidential Election Committee had issued a certificate of eligibility to me. I've also submitted a nomination as a candidate for the election, and the nomination has been accepted by the returning officer. I confirm I am pursuing an office that exists in the Constitution and possibly the highest office in our land. Under the Constitution, the President has two specific duties, which are to safeguard the past reserves and to uphold the integrity of the public service. Beyond these constitutional duties, I have a vision to use the President's office to influence policies that will make a better life for the people of Singapore. I will focus on three specific goals crucial to the well-being of our citizens. They are to bring down the cost of living, ensure affordable housing for all, and secure jobs that provide a sense of stability and a path to progress. From my walkabout and interaction with the people, I have received enthusiastic support from the people for this vision and the three goals. I have a strong belief that many people will want these goals to be pursued, and they will vote for me to pursue these goals. I am aware that the President does not have executive authority on these matters. However, I wish to point out that it is possible to achieve goals by using the influence of the President's office. This is sometimes described as the soft power. I believe the President has tremendous soft power due to the prestige of his office and from the strong mandate that he has received through the presidential election. He is likely to have received more than 1 million votes, which is higher than any member of parliament, minister, and perhaps the Prime Minister. Now, I must clarify again, I do not intend to be an adversary to the elected government. On the contrary, I hope to work in collaboration with the government to achieve the goals stated above. I wish to add another point to the real power of the President. Under Section 3(1) of the Inquiries Act 2007, the President may, whenever he considers it expedient to do so, issue a commission appointing one or more commissioners and authorizing such commissioners or a quorum of them daring mention to inquire into A. the conduct of any officer or officers in the public service. B, the conduct or management of any department of the public service or of any public or local institution. Or C, any matter in which an inquiry would, in the opinion of the President, be for the public welfare and in the public interest. These are the exact words of the Inquiries Act 2007. Many people have asked for greater transparency and accountability. They have asked strongly for an end to the approach they describe as own self, check own self, where the government appoints its own people to check on any possible misdeed of its ministers or other senior officers. Many people say they do not trust the findings of these internal checks. Under this Act, 2007 Act, the President has the power to appoint independent and suitably qualified people as commissioners to carry out the inquiry and issue an independent report, which will hopefully be regarded by the general public as being more reliable. I intend to use this power when the need arises, such as the recent scandals such as the recent events that are described as scandals. Thank you. I am now open for questions.
Mr. Tan, we just received news that you have removed some of your postings.
I will talk about this event, nothing else. You can talk about it tomorrow when I refer to other things.
Mr. Tan, you mentioned a lot about the soft power of the president, right? Can you share more about the constitutional power of the president? What will you be doing for that to mainly maintaining the reserve and as well as appointing for the candidates?
Could you repeat your question?
Yeah, because you mentioned a lot about the soft power of the president, right? You also mentioned about the constitutional power of the president. Can you share more on your ability to maybe do that to those?
You are asking me to comment on whether I'm able to safeguard the reserves.
Or what will you be doing?
What will I be doing to safeguard the reserves? I've stated that many times, that first I have the experience of managing large funds. I grew the assets of NTUC income 600 times in 30 years, from 28 million to 17 billion. During this journey, I encounter many cycles of ups and downs in the global economy. And I pursue a policy which is to invest the funds prudently and for the long term. This means that when the global economy is down, it is a short-term situation. It will recover. If you pursue a prudent policy and do not take excessive speculation, we will be all right. And this will be a matter which I think is very important for the management of our reserves. I received some signal somewhere, I will not elaborate, that setting the investment policy of the sovereign wealth fund is not the duty of the president. I disagree. It is a fundamental duty. If I'm in charge, I will want to make sure the investment policies of the past reserves are carried out prudently and properly. So therefore, I have the experience and I know what needs to be done. They may be different from what is being done now, but it is a separate matter.
Mr. Tan, apart from the result, right, presidents also have to represent Singapore at a global stage. So how do you think you can represent Singapore at a global stage?
The president is not a politician. The politician that decides international foreign policy is the finance minister and the prime minister. He's not the president should not interfere. But the president can represent the interests of Singapore. And the interest of Singapore, as I've stated earlier, the interest of Singapore is to promote international cooperation, international trade, international peace, and to be friendly with neighboring countries, with the major powers, and with all other countries that are important to Singapore. I have no confidence. I have every confidence. I know what the priorities are as the president to represent Singapore internationally. And these are my views, what a president should do. They may be different from my opponents. They are welcome to their opinion. And I'll tell the people of Singapore, whether you want a president that look after the interests of Singapore in these areas, which are also the same policies of the government. There's no doubt about that. But I will not interfere in what the government has to do. But these are the policies I think the Singapore government already pursue, and I will pursue them vigorously.
Mr. Tan, just now you talked about the president's soft powers, right, to help to enact change in society. So can you maybe elaborate more about that, please?
In many countries around the world, they have a king, a queen, or a sultan. These people are referred to as the monarch. And the monarch meets with the prime minister regularly. And the monarch conveys to the prime minister the feelings, the aspirations of the people. If the people are suffering, the monarch tells the prime minister, the people are suffering. If the people are suffering due to high GST, the monarch tells the president, your high GST is causing a lot of hardship. The decision is still with the prime minister or the finance minister. But the monarch's duty is to convey the aspirations and feelings of the people. And that will be the similar role that I will play. I may not be the monarch, but if I'm elected by 1 million people, majority in this election, I will play that role. And that is the role of the monarch, to convey to the government the feeling and the aspirations of the people. And I ask the people of Singapore, especially the young people, you have 50, 60 years ahead of you. What kind of future do you want? If you want a better future, take this opportunity to elect someone who will make the change so that you can afford, you can feel confident of the future, and you can raise a family, and you know that the environment will be good for your children. That is my message to the people of Singapore.
So, Mr. Tan, you said you are not a monarch, but are you equating the presidency as a monarchy?
You are obviously quite intelligent, and you will know the president in Singapore is elected by popular mandate of the people. But after being elected, he has to do the duty similar to, I think, a monarch. This has been practiced in many countries and quite well. We know that in some countries there were political upheaval, and the monarch has come in to play that role. I do not consider myself as a monarch. My father is not the king, and I am not the king, and my children will not be the king. We will play the role on the mandate of the people.
Mr. Tan, if elected, you said earlier that you wanted to have conversations with the Prime Minister, with his ministers, with the government. How do you think this will look like?
I heard that the Prime Minister meet with the President regularly. I heard that it might be weekly, but it could be once in 2 weeks. I also heard that the President meet with the ministers regularly. I do not know the exact details, but I do hope that this will be very good arrangements. If it's not there, I will invite them. But if it's already there, it will be quite a good arrangement because we're carrying on something that is going on quite well. And I will convey to the Prime Minister and to the ministers the aspirations and feelings of the people. And I want to gather the aspirations and feelings through a separate channel so that the Prime Minister can gather through his current channel, but I will gather through another channel so we can compare our notes. That is what I intend to do.
So regarding the controversy about your opinion on social media posts, how do you think that has affected your chances of winning this election?
I will not answer that question. I've answered that many times already. So you please read what I have written.
Mr. Tan, looking at your walkabout locations, most of them are food centres, hawker centres, but you said you wanted to reach out to the younger population as well. Is your strategy working in that sense?
Yes. I'm arranging a visit to a university, but that's not enough. I've attended 4 podcasts, 3 or 4 podcasts, 1.5 hours or longer. Please follow those podcasts. They are excellent podcasts and they reach out to young people. And the podcasts are very well done. I congratulate our young people who set up a social media company. I attended their podcast. Each time is for 2 hours. I've done, I think, 4 by now. In spite of this very hectic schedule, I've done 4. And when I saw what they have done, I think they did an excellent job to convey honestly, without unfair censorship, what I said. In fact, they were quite kind in editing to remove the parts that I might have spoken wrongly. So instead of making that worse, they actually presented a great piece of work. I was quite impressed who that person's talking was. That's me. I believe that many young people, when they watch that podcast, they will get my message and they will find that in spite of our age difference, younger people are 25, I'm 75, they will find that I'm quite close to the aspirations of the younger people.
You previously shared that you have a rally plan on Friday. Can you share more about your plans?
The rally plan of Friday will be modified. I think we might hold this next Thursday before cooling day because the time is now too short. And the other problem we face is the stadium is very costly and the police permit take several days. I don't know. I was told it takes several days to get approval. There are many logistics problems. So therefore, I decided to shelve this to next Thursday.
Can you share more details like where?
I can't. It's not fixed yet.
We've also seen Mr. Taman's posters around. How about your team? When are you putting up posters?
My team have put up a lot of posters. Maybe it will be half of Mr. Taman, but for every 2 of Taman, you will see 1 of Tan Kin Lian, and many people will come and say, Tan Kin Lian looks better. Okay, so I hope that they will also notice my posters.
Mr. Tan, I saw that you chose Hougang as the first place to put in your campaign posters. Is there a reason why you chose to do so?
This is the responsibility and the thinking of the person responsible to manage the posters. So I trust that he's done a good job.